What's up, Edo fans? What's your step? Everybody knows that NAMM just happened, and all artists, famous YouTubers were all in Nashville, and all big brands were there, really showing their new releases and so on. But one thing, it's in everybody's feed right now, and it's the return of the Fender Standard Series. We all knew the Fender Standard Series. It was the entry-level Fender guitars for everybody, and we had the American Standard Series, we had the Mexican Standard Series, and now Fender just released and announced the Standard Series made in Indonesia. So I made a research and made a spreadsheet with the specs from the American Standard, Mexican Standard, made in Indonesia Standard Series, the new ones right now, and the Squire Classic Vibe. Why? I want to present you some of the specs and what's going on right now on the internet about this new Fender Standard Series. I'm gonna start with the American one, and the American one was manufactured between 1987 until 2016, and it was made in US. The body was in alder and some models were ash, probably Fender special runs. The neck was maple in a modern C shape. The fingerboard was maple or rosewood, 9.5-inch radius. The frets were 22 medium jumbo frets. Pickups were all-nickel, and of course varied over the years. Some of the models even had a custom shop, probably, like I said, Fender special runs. Has CTS full-size pods, 5-way switch. The bridge were 2-point synchronized tremolos on stretch, and modern bridge in tele. It was discontinued in 2016 and replaced by the American Professional line. And the price at the release was 1,300 euros, between 1,600 euros. Of course, in dollars it was a little bit cheaper. Here in Europe it's a little bit expensive because of the taxes and of course overseas shipment and so on. Now we're going to the Mexican Standard Series. It was manufactured between 1991 until 2018. It was made in Mexico, alder or poplar body in the early years. The neck was the same, maple, 9.5 modern C shape. The fingerboard were maple or rosewood, 9.5-inch radius, 21 medium jumbo frets. The pickups were ceramic and with hotter output. The electronics were small dime-sized pots, 5-way switch, the bridge, 6-groove vintage-style tremolo and strat, and standard 6 saddles in tele. It was discontinued in 2018 and replaced by Player Series. Keep that in mind, replaced by Player Series. The price at release were around 600 euros, between 600 and 800 euros. Now we have the Indonesian Standard. It's made in Indonesia, the body is poplar. The neck is maple, modern C shape like the others. The fingerboard is maple or Indian laurel, 9.5-inch radius, 21 medium jumbo fret. The pickups were ceramic. The electronic, it says somewhere that is small size, but I saw, if I'm not wrong, on the Philip Knight channel, he had a tele and a strat on the bench, and it seems to be like alpha pods on it, full-size alpha pods. The bridge, 6-groove vintage-style tremolo strapped, and in standard 6 saddle on tele. And there, it's not a replacement of any series, so the Player Series continue. It's to fulfill a gap, like Fender said, of the old Mexican. Weirdly, because the old Mexican were replaced by the Player, but they're talking about the price range. The price release, it will be around 400 euros to between 400 euros to 500 euros. 599, almost 600. Yeah, 600. Okay. And now we have this Squire Classic Vibe. Why I want to bring this? Because later in the video, it's important to talk about the Squier Classic Vibe because of the price range. Squier Classic Vibe it's manufactured since 2018 until now. It's still been manufactured. From 2008 until now. Between 2008 and 2018, it was made in China, and from 2019 until now, it's made in Indonesia, probably in the same factory of the new Standard Series. The body is pine on the 50 models, NATO or poplar and the others. The neck is maple with a modern C shape, fingerboard maple or laurel or Indian laurel, 9.5-inch radius. Frets were 21 narrow, tall frets. Pickups were Fender design Unico pickups. Small dime size pots. Bridge vintage style, 6-screw tram on Strat, and 3 set of vintage bridge on Tellys. And the price at release were around 350 euros to 400 euros, and now stays between 450 and 500 euros. So, why Fender is releasing this new Standard Series? Quoting the brand, "We wanted to make Fender more affordable and to a wider amount of people." What does it mean? It means that Fender saw that the Player Series and the Player 2 Series now are on a higher price than when it was released, and the Squier Classic Vibe, it's stayed between the 450 and 500. So there was this huge gap here between, not huge, but there was this gap here between the 500 euros and the 700 euros that starts the price range of the Player 2 series. So Fender decided to release the new standard line made in Indonesia to fulfill this gap that stays between the 500 and 700. Many people were not happy with the specs of the Standard Series. I made a poll in the Instagram of the channel, and people answered that it was like, it's gonna sound like or it's just an expensive guitar for the specs that brings, and so on. I didn't try yet the new Standard Series. I'm really curious to try one of them, but I understand this feeling that the clients are having right now. I'm not saying that guitars manufactured overseas are not good or has really bad quality, because we have the PRS SC line that is really good and it's manufactured overseas, and we had the Ibanez with good guitars too, manufactured overseas too, or in Indonesia or China and so on. But I understand that for the price point that Fender is selling these guitars, I would expect a better specs too, because the Player 1 series stayed between that price range, and it was a really good quality guitar. Of course, it didn't have the rosewood neck, because you know the whole thing that happened. It was Paul Ferro. It's not that bad either. The look, I don't like it, but it's not a bad wood for that. And well, I already had guitars with Laurel, Indian Laurel fingerboard, and I really like it. I had a Squier Paranormal Tornado with a really good spec that was like that. And of course, I played with really good guitars manufactured overseas, but with a price range lower. For example, for me, one of the most important things when I buy a guitar is how I feel the neck. And I'm not gonna lie, one of the best necks I've ever played in my life, it was from a Squier Affinity line guitar. It was a maple neck, really comfortable for my hand. Like I said, necks are personal, so for me that one was amazing, with a really good satin finish on back. So much comfortable, amazing. And it was manufactured in China, if I am not wrong. That one was in China. That was a proof that they can build really good products. But like I said, the big issue here is the price range. Why I brought the specs of the Squier Classic Vibe. The Squier Classic Vibe and the Squier Paranormal, I didn't talk about the specs of Paranormal, but I'm gonna put in the same bucket here. They had really good spec with a fair, I would say a fair price range, okay? This new standard line that Fender is releasing, for me, looks like a Squier without the good specs of the Classic Vibe, with a Fender stamp on the headstock. Like I said, I didn't try yet, but just reading the specs, this is what it sounds for me. And with this price range, I would, if I could like stretch a little bit my budget, I would totally go for a Player 2 series. Or if I can't stretch my budget, I would totally stay in the Squier Classic Vibe. I understand that the Classic Vibe, it's a complete, it wanna tries to look and feel like a vintage style guitar, even though it has the 9.5-inch radius neck. But anyway, it tries to look and feel like a vintage guitar, while this new Standard Series is trying to bring a more modern look and feel with a higher price range. But even though, that would be my two options. Like if I could stretch a little bit my budget, I'll go for Player 2 series. If I can't stretch my budget, I would go for the Classic Vibe. I can't predict the future, but I'm really curious to see how this new line is gonna behave in the market. I hope it doesn't go like the modern Player series that it was manufactured, I don't know, I think in 2012. Yeah, if I'm not wrong. I had a thin line P90 Telecaster from that era. It was made in China with a Fender stamp right there, and they were, at least that Tele was a really good guitar. But the other ones were kind of weird. They want to try to, I don't know, bring this mix of specs to the guitars, but just to, I believe it was just to see how the public will receive, and they stopped to manufacture that line. I hope this doesn't happen with the Standard Series. I'm really curious to see how it's gonna be the new Standard Series, not this one but the ones after, because we all know that Fender released one series, kind of received some feedback from the public, and most of the time they listen to these feedback and release a new version, the newer versions with the things that people asked for. That happened with the Player 1 series. Like they released the Player 1, then the Player Plus. I had both guitars. I saw the qualities and the flaws, and it seems that Fender listened to the public, listened to the feedback, and released the Player 2 series. That is a really good guitar, and for my opinion, it has the best cost benefit if you wanna start with the Fender guitars. Well, let's see how it goes. I really want to know what you guys think about this new Fender Standard line. Please leave some comments in the comments below, and if you're not subscribed to this channel, just please click on the button subscribe. It helps me a lot, and if you like this video, don't forget to click on the like button. Hope you guys have a great day, and see ya. Peace.